Okay. All right. So we now have a very special presentation. As you know, Penpot's mother company is Kaleidos. And Kaleidos actually started with an open source project called Taiga. And now Taiga is undergoing a huge revamp. So no secrecy, but still a lot of hype. And to tell you a bit more about what we're doing as a sister project, we have Yamila Moreno and Miryam González, both from Taiga team. Please welcome them with a great applause.
You know what? We should change the topic completely. Let's take those 24 minutes from these good people and tell them everything about my renovation of my house. Let's talk about the faucets that I have to change, the switches, the tiles. I think it would be a better use of everybody's time. Don't you think? I think it will be. If everybody has something, and the audience has something to say about it, they just have to send me a message to this phone number. So I'm going to wait a little bit. I think it will be like, I don't know in which wall the shower should be on and something like that. I think it will be like, let me see. I need to know what people say. Okay. Lend me money. Give me a money. Yeah. No. I think it's okay. Nobody's objecting. Everybody agrees. So let's start. Okay. This is the plan of my house. And as you can see, we're going to start demolishing this wall, the fourth wall. No, we wouldn't do that to you. It felt weird, didn't it? Having something to say and not being able to, and not because it was not up to you to decide, but because you didn't have access to the place where the decision will be made.
Well, this is what we intend to avoid in Taiga, because we believe that a tool for making decisions shouldn't leave anyone behind. And that's why making Taiga global, inclusive, and accessible is one of our design principles. Why this goal? For starters, it's the right thing to do. Making this a principle means there is not a way of achieving another goal. It has its own importance. At Taiga, we want to make the conversation a central piece of our business model and design process. Everyone involved in a project should be able to participate in their own terms and have a space to share ideas and collaborate. Before going ahead, this talk aims at the same thing. We'd like to offer a global, inclusive, and accessible presentation. So for those of you who are hearing impaired, or if my accent is difficult, you will find a transcription in this, by using this QR code. You will find a description of the slides as well. So it's just a bit of accessibility that helps us all. Wow. Guys. Guys. Now you may be wondering, who are we and what is Taiga? Okay, about time you ask, guys, thank you. This is the conversation I'm talking about. Thank you. So regarding the first question.
I'm Miryam González. I'm one of the UX designers at Taiga and also the product owner.
And I'm Yamila, Chief Operating Officer at Kaleidos and Backend Developer at Taiga. To answer the second question, Taiga is an open source project management tool. Back in 2013, when Kaleidos was a consulting company, we needed a tool where we could have relevant and fair conversations for our projects. And I'm referring to everyone from customers expressing their needs to developers noting blogs, which happen, or sharing ideas, which also happen in an open environment. We wanted it to be open source, for sure. We wanted to work with agile methodologies, Scrum, Kanban. And we wanted it to be beautiful, which was an unexpected request at that time. And yes, I'm looking at you, Jura. And we searched everywhere. We didn't find what we were looking for, and so we built Taiga. Currently, we are working on the next generation of Taiga, where we bring those features and add innovation around lean methodologies and integration with Penpot. If you don't know what Penpot is, don't worry. No, joking. Okay. Now, to sum up this introduction, in this talk, we'll get into detail about how we are building a platform for multifunctional teams where open conversation are encouraged as a means to create better products. Let me say this again. We want Taiga to be truly global, inclusive, and accessible. And this should ring a bell for those of you who appreciate how Penpot is bringing designers and developers into the same arena. Okay. So let's start with the first part of the principle. Let's go global. To make Taiga global, we have to think of different needs depending on the user's location. First and foremost, it is crucial to have Taiga translated into different languages so the user can work in her language or the language of her team, for instance. Typically, this would mean a bunch of Western languages, especially English, because everyone speaks English, right? However, if you really want to go global, you have to open the catalog and add, for instance, right-to-left languages as well. And you have to know which languages you want to include from the very beginning during the design process, because it's not something that you can plug in at the last moment. Besides internationalization, we have to think of different localizations so the user may configure her date or timestamp formats, for instance, currency, depending on the platform, right? Depending on the user's country or depending on her company's security policies, she may be allowed to log into a platform hosted in European data centers and let it manage her data, or she may be denied. So Taiga is offered as a cloud platform as well as an on-premise installation. Kind of a side note, because that would require a whole new talk. It's not easy to make it global for everyone in every corner of the world. On one hand, we don't know everything. And on the other hand, we don't know what we don't know. For this reason, it's so important to have open conversations with our communities. They come from different parts of the globe with tips and requests we couldn't have imagined. Now, in order to have relevant conversations with these motivated but also random people, we must share our product roadmap as well as our design and development process. And we have to provide with means for having this conversation. Luckily, these days, there are so many options to reach our communities. One example of all these components working together is community-driven translations. Taiga is ready to have as many languages as they are, but we don't know that many languages. We are not even native English speakers, although you barely notice. So, with the help of the community, and thanks to being open source, let's not forget that, Taiga can be translated into any language, so the user can work in the language of their choice. Here you can see like just a selection of the languages that we have in Taiga, and we have so many more. Okay. Up to this point, we have a platform that can be potentially used everywhere. However, we know that having a username and a password in a platform doesn't mean that the user can speak up. Some roles and some people are more vocal, and it gets difficult for others to participate in a project. Although Taiga cannot solve toxic conversations or relationships, It can offer a more inclusive scenario where everyone has a voice, which enables better collaboration. So I'm going to tell you like 3 ways where we try to make Taiga more inclusive. First of all, we try to use gender-neutral language. In English, it's easy, but in Spanish and other gender-marked languages, it's a challenge. We have to find new expressions that feel natural, but are not too wordy, to prevent our designers from wanting to retire because this sentence just don't fit no matter what. This gender-neutral decision has also a welcome side effect. Some folks react poorly to this inclusion because it's ideology, and they don't want it. They just want to work as they always have, right? Okay, be my guest. In Taiga, we also use estimations to trigger a more inclusive decision-making mechanism. All roles are expected and welcome at estimations, so not only developers set the deadlines, for instance. That way, you can spotlight the work of designers, often ignored in plannings. We all have lived that, and it's just bad for the project and the team morale. Another scenario where we can facilitate inclusion is in assignments. We've seen this a lot, this old-fashioned style where there is a manager managing the work of other people, and there could be a huge chasm between those groups in terms of transparency. A developer may know her task, only her task, and not know anything about the rest of the project. Instead, in Taiga, a user cannot be passively assigned to a story, a task, or wherever, unless he has access to all the stories and has the whole context. That said, in Taiga, we want to take a step further in building relevant and fair conversations between designers, developers, and managers. And now Miryam is going to tell us a little more about how we picture this collaboration.
Yes. Let's do a little exercise of imagination. Imagine that you are a designer of a project. For some of you, maybe most of you, it won't be difficult at all. The product owner has created a series of stories on the Kanban, ready to start. You have already finished your previous story, so you're ready to take a new one. You do so. You write the requirements of this new story, and maybe you have some questions, and you use the comment section to put some comments there to ask for clarification. Improving the definition of the story, because all that improves the definition of the story. When everything is clear, wouldn't it be nice if you had access from Taiga to design in Penpot, and that automatically creates a board on Penpot with the story ID from Taiga and also a label with the title? Both pages, Penpot and Taiga, will be linked, making it easier to move, to navigate between the definition and the design. Nice, right? Let's keep imagining. Let's picture another situation. You have put together some wireframes on Penpot, of course, and you need that the development team verify that the data treatment is consistent. So a backend developers, and maybe all of them, go to the wireframes and put some comments there. That triggers 2 things. First, you get a notification, so you know that what's going on. And secondly, a needs info tag is added to the story in Taiga, letting everyone involved know that there is an ongoing conversation. Maybe it was a blocking issue, and a manager wants to jump in to make a decision, so communication becomes more fluent. As a result of that, a small but key change was needed and you can continue your work. So you come back to Penpot, but this time to do the final designs. So you're there enjoying the flex layout and the grid, and knowing that the pixel perfect is only an SVG file away. When finished, you label all those screens as ready, and that changed the status of the story in Taiga to one where a developer can pick it up and implement it. Cool. All that would be very cool. In conclusion, all those tweaks will improve your workflow. You will be able to do almost all your work done in your main tool, Penpot. You won't have to switch context so often, and it's easier and more natural for the rest of participants to access the artifacts you are creating and also to track progress. These are some examples of what it means for us at Kaleidos to focus on fair and relevant conversation for multidisciplinary teams. So, all this being said, the most important question here to answer is, for the faucet.
Come on, are you
gold
for
or
real?
bronze?
No,
No. But
no.
Okay. But,
Come on.
okay. The most important question to answer is, what does it mean that Taiga is for all the people, for everyone? Well, it's not easy for us to answer these questions. Although we have advanced a few steps in recent years, we still have a long way to go in terms of accessibility. Our commitment to accessibility has not always been as strong as it is now. At first we weren't even fully aware of this need, since people with disabilities already have their own tools, their own apps, right? We have not always taken into account the full spectrum that our potential users represent, that is almost everyone. However, thanks to activists that advocate and that help explain why it's important, and also lots of continuous training, we keep incorporating accessibility needs into our mindset, both for development and designers. The team takes ownership of this design principle. We have learned how to face many technical aspects, colors and contrast, of course, but also other things such as hierarchy, amount of data, focus, many things. But in the process, we have also unlearned some prejudices, like the idea that an accessible design cannot be beautiful. So the cherry on top is that by making the app more accessible, we are making it better for all of our users, even the ones that didn't have accessibility needs to begin with. We are committed to creating a truly accessible product, and that's why we have integrated accessibility as a base criteria into the design of a story. It's not something we take care of at the end if we have time. No, it's also in our definition of done. For us, our user story is not finished unless it can, at minimum, be handled without using a mouse, and the screen reader experience is taken care of and is satisfactory. So let me show you an example of what it means for us that. Well, on screen, you see the Kanban of the next generation of Taiga. So there she is. The fun thing is that, can you close the little notification? I'm going to close the little notification here. Because matter most is so needed. Well, so fun fact is that it's the first time we show the new product like this. This is the product in which we are working so hard. And we have so sneak peeks on our YouTube videos and our community, but not like this, so that's weird, but there she is. I love her so much. Well, so this is how it goes. I'm going to move cars around. You see my mouse, and with the drag and drop functionality. And this is me doing the exact same thing, but just with the keyboard. As you can see, I can change the status, I can change the priority like easily. Well, while doing this, if you were using a keyboard, you will hear
reader.
all the needed information.
Screen reader.
Excuse me?
A screen reader.
I said, so somehow today I messed up a keyboard from screen reader and I keep doing it and I don't know why. Like, okay, so if you were using a screen reader, you will hear all the necessary information when needed. That means tips for discovering and remembering how to use the functionality, key information about the story you took, such the ID and the title. What else? And the position, the state of the card at all times. It has been dropped, it is grabbed, everything. And also the position of the car, present and future, no? When I'm moving the cards around, present and future, both the status and the priority. The status and the priority. So, well, this is, as you can see, yeah. Sorry. I went blank for a second. Okay. As you have seen, I can use the functionality with some comfort with the keyboard. For some people, it will be like more comfortable using with the keyboard. But I can also move around the Kanban without having to go through like this, without having to go through each story, each interactive bit, if I don't want to make it easier. These are an example of what we mean at Kaleidos to focus on. No, sorry. Sorry, I went blank again. Sorry, I'm okay. This is fine. Everything is burning around me. Thank you. Okay, I can like. Well, that is because we are trying to make a product that has the experience is as good with the keyboard and the screen reader as it is with the drag and drop and the mouse. To finish, look at the design, but don't look too closely because it's in alpha, capiche? Well, when we look at it, we don't see the sacrifices that an accessible design is supposed to require. What we see is something that is beautiful, that is useful and intuitive, that everybody can enjoy. We have a few steps in front of us. We want to implement shortcuts, custom shortcuts. We want to make also themes a high contrast theme and also a dark theme. That is something that everybody asks all the time for it. Also, what else? Skip link system. We want also to implement ways to help the user that sets the color for the rest of the team to do it with the enough contrast ratio. So we have lots of ideas, but what we think is going to make a big, big difference is to offer alternative ways of doing everything, whether you use a mouse, keyboard, voice, you name it. So we have also, all things this said, we have a lot to learn and a lot of things to do. We have now in the middle of an accessibility consultancy that is also a course. Remember that there are accessibility experts and you can hire them and they can help you boost your practice and your knowledge, and it's fantastic, so go there if you can. We have planned to make a series of tests now that we have something more substantial. But the test won't be just only about accessibility. We have to check if we are using images, colors, and illustrations that are culturally appropriate and that are universal enough for everybody to understand. We have to check that we are using the correct formats for hours and dates, and much, much more since we plan to offer that many languages. That is also, everything we have just told you, is only possible if the entire team is committed to this goal. That means that includes business, management, design, and development. The efforts of one of these parties in isolation are of little use if they are not combined with the... I did it? You did it? Ah, sorry. No, no. Ah, sure. Yeah. No, it's not here. No. Well, so the efforts so if they are not combined with the effort of the rest of the team. So we have a big challenge now. We have a big challenge in front of us. The thing is, every time we dive deeper into the meaning of these words, accessible, inclusive, and global, it changes, it expands. The initial scope of this design principle a year ago was so much smaller than it is now. But we are that's overwhelming, and that's beautiful at the same time. It will be a significant investment and hard work. It's already doing it, but we are so proud to pursue these goals because we know it's worthwhile. At Kaleidos, we have lived through a developer-centric era when design was an otherness. Now we cannot imagine a project without a design team in it, and one that has lots of decision-making power. In the same way, we hope that quality such inclusive and accessible stop being an otherness in software development and became the norm. And we are thrilled to see how it's already happening. So, thank you. Nice. That. No. Hola. So yeah, that will be all. That will be all. Thank you for your time and your attention. And thank you, Penpot, again, to give us the opportunity to talk about our stuff in this.
And thanks,
No?
thanks, Will, for these slides. They were amazing.
Yeah.
And welcome to Kaleidos.
Welcome, Willie, to Kaleidos.
Well, now, I know there are no time for questions. I know that. So if you have any questions about the presentation, you can come to talk to Miryam, myself, or any other of the Taiga team. We'll be super happy to talk to you about your common thoughts. If there are questions about the renovation, please save them for later and proceed at your own risk. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.